Hi, good day everyone. I want to do a video about carb cycling. Now, carb cycling is a rather advanced type of diet approach that top bodybuilders employ to break through plateaus in both achieving more muscle mass as well as getting their fat levels down. It is not to be tried by the beginner or even the intermediate type of person. Just simply because of the risk is very high that if you don't know exactly what you're doing and you monitor you extremely well in the whole carb cycling process, then you're going to fail and it's going to do more harm than good. But if you get a coach that can coach you and monitor your progress, and the coach really know what he's doing, then carb cycling can produce some significant results. Now, what is carb cycling? Carb cycling is, in the simplest form, a system where you alternate between 3 days of high carbs, medium carbs, low carbs. Your protein and fat roughly stays the same on those 3 days, but I'll get more into that later on. So with carb cycling, the result is that your body never goes into a famine type of environment. Now, this is one of the biggest problems that with traditional diet or calorie restricted environments that the body experiences, is that because of the sudden drop in calories and it's too little calories, so the body, many times the body go into a famine environment, which result in more muscle loss than actual fat loss. And this is the worst enemy for any bodybuilder or person that wants to build some muscle mass. An interesting fact about carb cycling is that it actually seems to control your ghrelin hormone levels. Now, what is the ghrelin hormone? Now, that is the hormone controlling your hunger pains, basically. And with carb cycling, it seems that the hunger pains is less. It seems that the need or the urge to eat food is less than with traditional forms of calorie restricted diets. The high carb days will spike your insulin levels, which is a powerful hormone for the bodybuilder. It will fill your glycogen stores. It will fire up your metabolism, and it will prevent a catabolic environment. The bodybuilder wants the insulin levels to be spiked, because when the insulin levels is spiked, this is when insulin can do its work. And the insulin is one of the most powerful anabolic compounds available to the bodybuilder. The low carb days on the carb cycling can be quite taxing on the body, especially when you have to hit the gym hard and you really did not have any carbs and you don't have the energy. But then again, even with traditional diets, it's still calorie restricted, and that's still going to be a problem for a person when he has to hit the gym hard. The positive thing about carb cycling is that you've got the knowledge now on your low carb days that tomorrow I'm going to eat some carbs, and that makes it easier to push through this low carb day. Carb cycling is not considered a long-term approach. It's a short-term solution to break through plateaus and to put new vigor into your training program and add some muscle or lose some body fat. Many different forms of carb cycling exists. It's not a simple system, but the more common approach is to have one high carb day, one medium carb day, and one low carb day, and then to cycle between those 3 days. Traditionally on the high carb day is when you would hit the gym really, really hard, like with maybe a chest workout or leg workout. That's where you need the energy. On the medium carb days, that is when you traditionally would do smaller muscle groups, maybe shoulders, biceps, abs, and things like that. And the suggestion is that on the low carb days, you try to do very little intense muscle workouts, maybe a bit of abs and maybe a bit of cardio if you want to do cardio. So on all the 3 days, the high, medium and low carb days, your protein and fats intake stays roughly the same. So on the high carb days, you would eat roughly 300 to 400 grams of carbs, and on a low carb day, you would take it as low as 50 grams of carbs. Important when you start out with carb cycling, as you need to do the first 2 weeks, you need to do twice as many high and medium carb days as low carb days, simply to phase your body into this new environment. So you would do one high carb, one medium carb, one high carb, one medium carb, and then a low carb. And then again, one high, one medium, one high, one medium, and then one low carb. After the 14-day period, you can go back to a normal 3-day cycle, high, medium, low, high, medium, low. So how do you structure the actual breakdown of the carbs, the fat, and the protein? Let's quickly go through it. On the high carb days, you would eat normal 6 to 8 meals. Your diet should always be like normal 6 to 8 meals. So on the high carb days, 6 to 6.5 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight. 2 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. 0.3 to 0.4 grams of fat per kilogram of body weight. It is preferable that you eat high GI sugars on the high carb day. That'll be something like sweets, fruits and stuff like that, because you want to spike the insulin. This is the whole idea of carb cycling, is to spike the insulin. As the diet progresses in time, you can experiment by dropping the GI value of foods to the lower end of the scale. The medium carb days. 2 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight, 2.5 to 2.75 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, 0.3 to 0.4 grams of fat per body weight. Low carb days, 1 gram of carbs per kilogram of body weight, 3 to 3.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, 0.5 to 0.7 grams of fat per kilogram of body weight. Just some key notes about carb cycling. On training days, try and keep most of your carbs to just before training, maybe even during training, and just after training. And that is where you need the insulin to be spiked. Water intake is critical. It must be directly proportional to the amount of carb intake. It's going to be critical for you to keep a detailed journal of how your body reacts to all the inputs and the changes that you apply in the carb cycling system. You need to really be in touch with your body, and you need to analyze your results, because this is not a simplistic system. Everyone's body is going to react differently, because there's such a lot of factors determining it. Your genetic makeup, the way you're training, the way you've dieted in the past. Each of us is going to react differently, and therefore you really need to monitor your body very closely during a carb cycling environment. And as I said before in the video, it is highly preferable that you get a very skilled coach that leads you in this whole process. Hey everyone, I hope this helped. So grow in the gym, and cheers. Gert Louw signing off.